Cage Siders.
Doing a thing in the studio, Mark Seidel, the venerable Mark Seidel on the boards, running things smooth as always. I tell you what, Mark, listen to these stats, man. This next cat we have on the line, 6'6", 240 pounds. He's about to fight next week, March 3rd, on the Sergey Kovalev undercard at the theater at Madison Square Garden. This is a cat you want to be on the lookout for. Cassius Chaney. Cassius, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, man. Now, you're a guy whose name's being passed around here. Now, we know you fought a couple years ago here in Vegas. I think maybe your third or fourth professional bout. You've traveled the world. You sparred with the Fury brothers. You're taking fights left and right all over the place, man. But you're a former basketball player, man. University of New Haven. You had a great career there, but once the basketball career wrapped up, why did you turn to boxing of all sports?
I was in between of going to play professionally overseas, and I don't know how I just was driving by the boxing gym, and I said, let me just go in to work out just to stay in shape. And the coaches asked me, "Oh, would you like to fight?" And I'm like, "Yeah," And it was just like, it was either take it serious and, go ahead and fight, or, still play basketball. So, of course, I enjoyed playing basketball, but again, like, I never played other sports in high school, so I never really got that opportunity to really know if I could, or, like what other sports I would be good at. I just stuck with basketball. And I go into a boxing gym, and it was pretty much a done deal.
Now, that's one hell of an origin story. I mean, you're just driving by a boxing gym, just say, hey, you know what? I think I'll go in here, work out. They're like, hey, you're a big guy. You want to punch people in the face? And all of a sudden, you got a second career like that, man. Not many people get that road.
Yeah, pretty much. I was just kind of like, and, after that day when I went, I kind of called the next day to see if it was open, like to see if I could still go. And I'm like, man, this is going to be kind of weird going in there, and just the day, I was tall, I was coming to the gym. My last name, they kind of knew my brother because he went to school in the town, and they heard of me from basketball, but the coaches didn't really know who I was. So I'm sure that when I came back, they were all like, oh, well, we got a big guy in the gym, went to school, and, let's see if we can turn him, get him the golden gloves. And it went from that to fighting the gloves and, so on and so on.
Now, you do have a decorated amateur career, like you mentioned, a couple of Golden Gloves titles, a couple of national championships as an amateur, but you were mentored from a young age, around 13, 14 years old, by an NBA great in Vin Baker, looking forward to your basketball career and things like that. When you first went to Vin Baker and said, you know what, man, I'm going to be a pro boxer, what did he say to you?
Oh, ironically, he was like, oh, man, that was a different situation, because at that time, he thought I was still practicing for basketball.
Right.
So that's what we talked about. I go to knock on his door one day, and I'm like, hey, bro, I'm about to fight in the Golden Gloves. He's like, what? He's like, what? I said, yeah, I really am going to fight this week. And I really don't think he believed me even then, because we always kid around. And I win it, and I bring it back to him. He was just, proud, because that's his second favorite sport.
Really?
He's pretty much just a boxing fan, just as a boxing fan as he is with basketball. So, he was all excited and, just proud that I was taking it serious.
Now, you are, of course, named after Cassius Clay. When you went to your mom and said, hey, Mom, I'm going to be a pro boxer, did she have kind of that same reaction as Vin Baker, or was she really excited?
She was excited, but it was like, oh, this boy is crazy. It was like that. It was like, This boy lost his mind. He's crazy. But my older brother, he's a boxing fan. My dad, everybody was kind of like, honestly, on the fringe. It was like, okay, he has to go to the amateurs. That's a year. Do it again for another year. Pretty much 3 years until you kind of start to really get acclimated, maybe more for me, And, now I think people are really starting to take it a lot more serious, and understand that, I'm taking it serious and, I'm getting more and more support behind me.
Now, I got to put you on the spot here. Since you're named after Cassius, who, in your opinion, is the greatest fighter of all time?
Oh, of course, I'm going to say Cassius Clay, Muhammad Ali. Of course, yeah. I mean, just in and out of the ring, I think you got to factor both of those variables. Of course, you have, there's so many greats, though, but,
right.
Just in and outside of the ring for what he stood for at that time is just different. It's huge, but, there's so many different other greats, Floyd Mayweather, Bernard Hopkins, of course, Lennox Lewis, George Foreman. The list is huge. So, it just all depends on what you're basing it off of.
No, see, that was the right answer, because if you said like Joe Frazier and you're named after Cassius Clay or something like that, I think we would have to get Mama on the line and figure out what the hell's going on. So that's
ironically, right, throughout my whole life, throughout my basketball time from high school to college, I never met any boxers. I never crossed any, when I was of age, but when I was probably about 5 or 6, my father's from Philly, so we were at a park, and we happened to see Joe Frazier, and my dad introduced him to me, but he told him my first name, and Joe Frazier goes, "Oh, you named him after that guy?" And
that's funny.
To me at that time, I was playing, so I laughed and kept moving. My dad brought it back up to me, a little bit after we left the park. We were just, explaining the story, the history, and, how much they really didn't like each other at that particular time.
Right.
And that was pretty much the only fighter I had met up until I started boxing.
Yeah, that's amazing, man. That's amazing. You actually run into Joe Frazier, you get introduced, and he's like, you named him after that guy, right? It's a great story, man.
He was there with his grandkids, and, he was just chilling, but he was just like, you didn't have to tell me his name.
That's funny.
It was funny.
Now, you are one of the rare boxers with an actual college degree. You got a degree in sports management. You often describe yourself as kind of a thinking boxer. You gravitate toward boxers who are thinkers, analytic guys like Lennox Lewis and stuff like that. What does that mean in boxing, to be a thinking boxer?
I think that it does mean a lot. I think for me it was kind of backwards. It was kind of flip-flop because of the simple fact that I went to school. So I'm kind of learning not to think so much in the ring, but I still have that quality, and the beautiful part is, I came back home, back to the city, and the gym's always open. I'm always able to get in the gym, and I'm always training. And I'm starting to lose that mindset of overthinking. And I feel so much better just, having that under my belt, that I did go to school. But, now I could just let go, be free in the ring. And, I still got that quality. When I come back to the corner, whatever I'm being told, okay, but I still have that quality of being able to think and, dissect things while I'm in there on my own.
I like that. Now you're back home in Baltimore. You're at, sports fans know this, Calvin Ford, the mayor of Baltimore boxing. You know who Calvin Ford is. Upton Boxing Center there doing your training. But most importantly, you're back around family after spending so much time on the road in your basketball career, early part of your boxing career, stuff like that. How important is that to have family back in the mix for your everyday schedule and for your training?
Oh, it's great. This is the most time I've been here since I went away to Connecticut, to stay with my grandmother and go to school and play basketball and everything. So just being home, though, is just different because there's certain things I don't have to worry about. I don't have to worry about food, money, and things like that. I'm already at the crib. So, like I said, the gym is right down the street. So I'm going to the gym, I'm training, I'm coming back home. And, my mom's cool. So nobody really bothers me. They just know I'm here, I'm training, and I'm always in the room or, out training. So that alone is great for me. And, I have little cousins here that I get to see and be around if I want to go have fun or something. So, it's just different. It's just great, just not having to worry about what I'm eating or gas money or, certain things like that. I can budget a little bit better.
Right. Now, and, in the same breath, I mean, most boxers kind of early in their career, unless they show that real standout skill level, they kind of bounce around from team to team. But you have main events, the great Kathy Duva behind you. I mean, you're on the undercard of Sergey Kovalev. I mean, how important is that to have a team like main events behind you kind of guiding your career early on so you're not making those mistakes that a lot of boxers do?
Oh, it's great. It's just different because I think when I first met with them, I honestly think they saw something in me. I think they still do. I think they saw I'm still green, not green, but I'm green a little bit, but they saw that I had a lot of growth, like potential and growth. And I've tried different things that, have been asked of me. And I'm going to continue to just want to learn. And when I met with Jolene one time, we met, we talked, and she told me, she said, you have a very, very young personality. So that means, you have a lot of growing to do. And it meant a lot because, I understood that. I do know that heavyweights develop later. Still trying to make my move now. And over time, I do feel like, I'm going to get better, as time goes on. The more I'm in the ring, I'm just going to get better and better. And main events, I just love the fact that they've been patient with me, that they put me on these great cards, and I've done well. Ironically, I've done really, really well on the big cards. So I'm looking forward to next weekend.
Now, before I let you go, man, I mean, the theater at Madison Square Garden doesn't get too much bigger than that. I mean, it's a great start to your career. Can you describe the emotion of being on this, big card, Sergey Kovalev, doing his thing up top on the main event? But can you describe the emotion kind of getting there and the meccas of sports arenas everywhere?
Oh, this is, I thought Mandalay Bay was great. Montreal was great. But
right.
This is pretty much right here, the East Coast. The biggest place I could possibly be asked to fight at on the East Coast is Madison Square Garden. I've only been there one time, and that was just to watch a women's basketball game. So now I'm back there, and I'm able to say, look, I've actually performed in Madison Square Garden. Nobody can ever take that away from me.
Right.
This is a place where Ali's fought. The greats have fought. So I get to put that on my belt forever.
You get those goosebumps just thinking about it, right?
Yeah, I'm just excited. I mean, ironically though, I know the other guys saying I'm getting ready to fight at Madison Square Garden too. So we get to go out there and just put on the show. I'm ready to go. I'm really, I'm ready to go.
March 3rd is the date. You get to see Cassius Chaney do his thing versus Tim Washington on that Sergey Kovalev undercard. Cassius, before I let you go, man, I know you got people to shout out, coaches and everything that help you along the way, sponsors. Give them a little bit of love before we let you off.
Oh, of course, I just want to thank my team, Coach Calvin Ford, Kenny Ellis, Lauren Travakman, my brothers, Muddy Waters in Connecticut, and Daddy Jackson, Connecticut, Baltimore, Saybrook, in London. Thank you for the support. New Haven, thank you for the support, and I'm ready to go.